All righty then. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Speaking with the Sage, Empress Yamaya Faye. I am your host, Jauqline, and in this episode, we have a special guest, Pocahontas Ase. We really wanted to bring a collective discussion and really continue the expansion, really. Because Pocahontas Ase, she definitely will talk about herself, give a little brief summary of herself, but she really does have very good insight. And she is a Pisces as well, so the
I would have myself.
She really does have a lot of knowledge to say, and then definitely for the younger generation, such as myself, we're both the same age, around the same age. So yes, I'm really excited. This discussion will be definitely all about emotional intelligence, really creating the life that we desire, and about masculine energy, balancing the feminine and masculine energy. So Pocahontas Ase will be asking Empress Yamaya Faye the questions, and then we just really create a nice embodiment. This is for everyone, male, female, everyone, because we're all human. We all go through this life experience. And yeah, so I'm really excited. Pocahontas Ase, will you please give an introduction to yourself, and then go to the questions, and then we'll create. Exactly.
Hi, I'm Pocahontas Ase. First of all, I would like to say thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored to be in the presence of both of you two. I've been looking forward to meeting the Empress, and I'm so excited to meet you, Yamaya Faye. Thanks for having me. And Jauqline, thanks for inviting me. I am so excited. So yes. I'm Pocahontas Ase, like I said. I have a cooking show called Cooking with Pocahontas Ase on YouTube. I also share different food on my Facebook page. So it's mostly alkaline and vegan. So I just try to, just have more health. And we don't know what to eat. So I try to help my generation and our elders on things that they can eat. And I also have a clothing line called Members Only by Inez. I haven't done it lately, but I'll get back to it. Awesome. So that's something I do. Thank you so much.
Definitely.
I wanted some guidance. So I wrote these questions down to ask Yamaya Faye, because I know she has a lot of experience and wisdom in her life that she can share with us. So I guess I'll get into it.
Ready. Exactly right. Please go on. Yes, please.
Okay, so I wanted to speak on emotional intelligence, and I wanted to know, what does emotional intelligence mean to you? Because a lot of people, they don't understand it, and I guess it's a broad definition for it, but I just want to know, what does it mean to you?
Well, first and foremost, I want to say all praises to the divine feminine that is represented here at this time and in this place, especially with the younger generation. As a saging member of our collective, it is a really beautiful thing to see young women so vibrant, willing to step into a new realm of inner and understanding for themselves, as well as impacting everyone else. My embodiment is to be able to edify woman, because I first have edified the self. So I appreciate you being here, and appreciate you as well, Harris, and a fellow Piscean, which he hears me speak about quite often when I was coming in my younger years, though I'm not old, ancient, but not old. Yes. I would go through so many different things when it came to having those emotional experiences. And as they would say, crises cry easily. They do all these different things. They're so emotionally attached, and not having the inner and understanding of what that really meant. Because first and foremost, all of us embody water. We are water. And then to be birthed into a season and a sign that, amplifies emotion and water is a whole nother thing. So for me, emotional intelligence is about the knowing of self and those areas that trigger those emotions to the self. Because it is so deep and it does expand based on one's inner and understanding in their own consciousness. So it starts first with the self. It definitely starts with the self. How can you bear that particular thing? And then once you've bared it, how do you walk through so you don't trip up on it the next time it appears? Because that particular situation that may have triggered you may have nothing to do with you at all. Maybe now you're on the bearing witnessing end. Maybe it's now time for you to speak for, help somebody else walk through that same thing. So first it starts with you having awareness of what you're dealing with. That's emotional intelligence to me.
Beautiful.
Yes, yes.
Well said. Yes. Okay.
And then with elaborating more on the emotional intelligence, because you sent me the question, so I know, and there's some really nice ones on there, like what was your experience with emotional intelligence, so we could very much
open it up.
Open it up.
Okay. So my experience with emotional intelligence. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm still learning because like I wrote you, sometimes I have hard times figuring out what's wrong with me. Like why do I feel, alone, or just these lower vibrational feelings, and I'm trying to understand like what is this feeling, where did it come from? Like, so I have to go into myself and just figure out, like, is it me or did somebody make me feel this way? So I've been learning to actually just sit with myself and talk with myself and just dissect my thoughts and have conversations with myself just to figure out how I feel. So that's my take on emotional intelligence, just learning myself. And so
when you have those feelings though, what is it that you are doing, or who is it that you are around? Because awareness also embodies in that intelligence of the self. Oftentimes you will be triggered by something that is external of thee that will cause you to have that. And as long as it doesn't bring that to the part of the self, kind of like a feeling of self-sabotaging, because sometimes you can feel the other part of you knowing yourself. You become more empathetic. As a Piscean too, you're very open, and I'm generalizing, but most Pisces that I know, even myself truly, you're very open, very receptive, empathic. So oftentimes you're going to feel and embody somebody else's emotions. So most definitely you looking at your surroundings, who you're surrounding yourself with, who you're speaking to, who's in your ear, how you're discussing things. But ultimately, yes, you're still controlling your own water. So that, your balance is checking that self.
Actually, I feel that.
Yeah.
I understand. Okay, that made a lot of sense.
Love it.
Yes. So I feel like so I just had one more question about emotional intelligence, and we can move to the next one. So have you ever experienced a moment where you didn't understand your emotions, and what did you do to understand your emotions?
She got me questions.
Wow. Hello, why did you ring my bell? Very, very good question. Absolutely a good question, and a very serious question. And I have to answer it in 3 different ways, almost like 3 different ways. And it is based on the maturity that I had to develop as I continued to walk. Of course, I've questioned my emotions, my abilities, my service, my pacing. Done a lot of questioning, and all of it centered from the emotions that were actually given to me by external things. Because we come into the world, we come in solo, but then we come into an environment that is surrounded. And so based on what is surrounding us, we can either adapt to that or transform from that. And sometimes it happens in periods of time. So at one time, yes, I found myself crying at everything. I was like, gosh, why am I so emotional? It's just a freaking commercial. For goodness sake. God, why am I touching into that? And at the same time, I didn't mind it. It's not only until people that were around me started to point out that particular side of my natural being, of being emotional, did I really start crucifying my own characteristics and trying to put them under the rug, trying to cover them. And I know now, after going through several years of that, the depth of that is, of course, it made me start to question myself. What was I doing? Why am I doing that? And why isn't that other person doing that before I started to enter and understand or learning of the self? With the emotions happening, it only triggered more emotions by me thinking about what other people were saying and how they were dealing with that same thing, this sort of thing. So for me, it started when I decided to start to write things down, what was going on with me, because of course, you want to speak outwardly to someone, but if they're not in that vibration or on that level of insight that you have, they can only give you a perspective of an opinion from what they're listening to, had they not walked through that particular side. So writing that down, taking the time for the self, like you said earlier, but more importantly, really cutting people off. Like you can be receptive, you can interact with someone, but I also had to realize I had to qualify the people that I was speaking to, not just because they were an elder or they were somebody that someone said, you know what, this person is a wise person. It had to be someone that was mature enough in the spirit, mature enough to be able to even adhere to hear, not listen, hear what I was saying, so I could enter and understand, or they could be able to actually give me something that will fulfill some part to make me push my own way through. Because emotions are something I could come along and help you or her and say, it's going to be okay, it's going to be okay. But the depth is you have to be the one to gear your own self up to take heed to what is being given to you. So I started to write. I started to cut off certain things. I started to take a step back, almost like, hello, we all have imagination. Pisces can throw themselves out of realms when needed. Yourself out and just be an observer of your own activity and then the interaction that you deal with. So that's what I meant, like a 3-step thing. The more I matured in it, the difference and the more comfortable I got with dealing with my own emotions, because we can be very introverted as well. We can be extroverts, but we can be introverts. So it's kind of like, okay, let me use this particular side as power for myself and not give so much over to other people, because I was a people pleaser. I want to please you. I want you to be just as happy, but realistically, if I'm not being happy myself, how can I give it to you? So that particular side helped me come to the point of going through a lot of tears, of course, a lot of crying and just getting mad because why won't they listen? Or why can't they hear what I'm saying? Or why do they always want me to sound like this for them to hear me? Why can't I just speak to them eloquently, nicely? I had to go through all of those, that type of part that you really don't want to go through, to be quite honest. Because you're like, why? Why can't I just be this way and you enjoy who I am and help me through? But no one can help you through if you can't see your own way too. You know, you got to see some form of your own way before you can even allow something from someone else to come to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Emotionally. So the older, I always make the jokes about that because they're like, oh, Pisces are this, or they cry. I was like, honey, not mature Pisces.
Mature Pisces.
Mature
Yeah.
Pisces turn that water inside out, honey. They just watch you and be like,
Yes.
I love
Yes, I do too.
I hope that answers your question seriously, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, very yeah, you really did. And I love how you're incorporating the Pisces with it because it's helping me understand myself a little bit.
Yeah.
Ashe divine.
Pisces emotions, we can, that's a big
Yes.
wave.
Yes.
That's a big wave, beloved. It's a big wave. It's a big wave of understanding of your own consciousness, because oftentimes too, it's like the Piscean is so in their heads. They are in their heads. Not that generally the whole zodiac sign can be in your head. It is based on where you are establishing the self, what principles you were taught when coming into this realm. Because we all come into a platform of a realm of surroundings. So you could be any sign and be in your head. You can be any sign and be emotional. But there are certain signs, traits of certain people that it's just a bit much. Sometimes you're just looking at Pisces like, I know me and you Pisces, but you tripping. We grow up, right?
Perfect.
That's great. Okay, so so moving on to building the life that you desire, because me personally, I feel like not just myself, but a lot of other goddesses that I have met and young kings, we want to build a life we desire. You know, I feel like I came into this world with what I had. Like, so I'm used to just getting what is like, let's just say getting what's available, not a. So I want to know more about creating this life that I desire, not just being here and just accepting things, but more of a creative mindset. So the question that I had was, how can a young woman who never experienced a close family relationship build a family of her own? Because that's one of the things that I desire in my life. So yes.
Ooh, okay. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Goodness, beloved. Okay. Wow, no, I mean that's in this day and age, woo, yeah. That's a really intelligent and well thought out question. The depth of it too is it's a desire of your heart. So okay, let's start with what you said, because your first question was about emotions, right?
Yeah.
So I would tap in first to dealing with the self, divine first. Let's deal with divine first, and your divine self, your emotions, getting yourself intact first, going through and inner and overstanding and understanding your growth through, you know, how you came in, what was surrounding you. And as you just made mention to, as far as the family ties and not having the closeness, the depths, oftentimes you can be that very vessel, that ambassador for the rest of the family. And that can be isolation. that also means the element of yourself and your emotional ties to yourself first, and allowing yourself to cut the cords of everything that is external of you that does not bring you fulfillment. And that can be close family and friends and this sort of thing. You have to first weed out those things from your own gut first before you can actually create something new.
Yeah.
It is first for you, those things that you enjoy. Oftentimes we're taught that that's being selfish, it's conceited, you're overly confident, but the depth of these things, if you don't take that on for yourself first, you can't really extend that to no one else. I went through those stages where I've taken only so much for myself, and then I start trying to pour it out. And then when I start feeling all weak and I've given it out to other people, the moment I cut the cord from them, they turn back and they're angry at me.
Yeah.
They're angry at me, but I'm feeling depleted because I didn't fill my cup up where it's overflowing in creativity, in my emotional balance before I tried to give it out to someone else. So to answer in your question, how can you create something, especially that very desire that you want within your own heart? First, within the mind, contained within the heart, manifest out through the mouth, and in your operations for yourself first. For yourself first. Then you can take all those extra tools like, the vision board, put up this, do your journaling, you know what I mean? Tap into that voodoo if you want to, honey. Put up the candles, that divination, this type of action. But first for yourself, I have a daughter. But the depth of that is I had to first do certain things for myself, even having twins and coming out and realizing, wait, hold up. She's still an individual soul. It might have come from me, but this is an individual soul. Now, how do I create an environment that will be conducive for her to prosper, even knowing what I came through from a family? You follow? And my family was this and that, and this sort of thing. And you feel like you're the black sheep.
Yeah.
The depth of that, then that means you're the ambassador. You weren't separated for no reason at all. It's based on your perception of that reason. When you're able to look at the family and still love them, but be detached from it. And most people, the depth of it, they'll call you crazy. Why are you not being with your family? How could you? Your blood, but baby. At the end of the day, if I don't get me, how can I give you? Or how can I even commit something to you? But we align those particular practices because that's what we're taught to do. Emotionally create that family within you first. Within you, before you try to go push that out or bring that to pass in this natural realm, because the natural realm, has all these other elements that you have to see through. Seriously, it's like, ooh, here it is. Oh my God. Okay, now you have the children and you have the man.
Yes.
This is your tribe. This is more. You have to create you first. Establish that part for you. That side will continue to come back to you and water you and replenish and replenish and replenish. Yes, beloved. Oh my God. Yeah, you gotta watch that part.
Yeah.
Facts. Do your family in you, baby. Do your family in you.
And then
How you see it.
The divine will end up guiding you to which we will call the soul family.
The
if it's
soul
not
family.
Your blood family, it will be guided as long as you're open and you're receptive. And as you said, you've done that work within yourself. It's inevitable. It's inevitable.
I have a question though. In that, because we all have desires, right? Oh, I should start with this. First, we all have a want, then we have a like, then it's a desire. When you say a family, what does that fulfillment look like to you? Now, that's what you need to put on that board. That's what you need to plant here. You follow? What does that fulfillment look like for you? And then if you can look at that fulfillment and say, oh, I can bring that to me. That's already resonating in me. That's going to be produced on the external of you. Follow.
Yes.
Follow. Seriously. What that look like?
I have a lot of journaling to do.
You should see my journal case,
Yes.
honey. Oh, my journal case is like,
yes.
I have the locks on it.
Ooh. Nice.
No, facts. Absolutely. So I'll pass them down to her.
Yeah.
Okay, what did she say about doing that?
Yeah.
Page 45.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, I really do believe that. And don't box your fulfillment. Don't put your fulfillment in a box. You know, limited based on other people's perspectives of what your family should look like for you.
Yes. Yes, you saying all of that, that right there is what I have been working on. I have been working on isolating myself from family, well, really relatives is what I call them. So
Yes.
I've been isolating myself from relatives. I've been finding some of my soul family, and I've been connecting with people who are resonating with me. So that's why I am also desiring my own family, because I isolated myself from my family because I want to create my own family. So I didn't get a chance to come from, a strong family. So I feel like that's why I desire it, because I feel like I deserve it. I know I deserve it. And yeah.
Your foundation, now the depth of that is in a lot of the sessions we do the cutting of cords. And the cutting of cords are atypically the people that are closest, to us. Not that you don't love those people. The depth of it, the more that you love yourself, you have inner and understanding and compassion for those that may not just be in that lane to go where you want to go and to be where you want to be. So really just isolation can also lead to validation within self. You found your own value.
Yes, I love that.
You had to get back, you had to step back so you could value the self and enter and understand. And the depth of you, as we would say, you're born into a certain family. You might have chose that family for a whole reason that is unannounced to you, maybe at this particular time. But the more that you show up for yourself, it'll start being revealed to you. And the other parts of your family will actually get to see that demonstration of that light in you. Now, they may bicker at it at first, or shun it, or da-da-da-da, but then they're still being healed too, especially if they allow that to come through for them.
Yeah, true.
It's lonely. It can feel lonely. I won't discount the area of how that feels lonely, or how you're just like, what? Can somebody see what I'm talking about? For Pete's sake.
Yeah.
There's no Pete around. Pete gone. Pete got his whole family.
Hey. Yes, I'm just flowing and accepting it is.
Ashe. You do. You have to enjoy as much as possible, beloved.
Oh, yeah.
You do. It's the thing that's going to continue to bring yourself through.
Yeah.
Good questions.
Yes, let's continue. I'm liking these questions.
Very good. Very good. Wow. Okay.
I got one more question before we move on. You know what? I have a few more questions. Okay. How does unhealed trauma lead to codependency?
Oh, good.
Oh.
Of a drink? Codependency. Okay. Unhealed trauma. Okay. First, for myself, I like to speak for myself. I mean, that was the biggest thing that I learned with going through my own shadow work, spiritual development, that whole walking out the self and doing it live and in front of other people. was a big thing. So that side of codependency. Okay, because we're born into a tribe, a family, whatever structure. We innately are taught without words that we're to depend on the person, whoever we see to be of authority.
Yeah.
So then in that situation, or situations, because it could be, both parents, the individual, grandma, whoever is in that authority. And depending on how they maintain that authority, so of righteousness or not, and dealing with the things that come down from that, because you don't know necessarily as a child if the person that you're looking at has gone through their own trauma, so they don't know how to give you a proper guideline based on their willingness to do their own healing. So if they're not willing to do their own healing, they're only going to give you the best that they could do based on their own consciousness. Okay? So then when they feed you this, it's up to you, going back to that part we were discussing earlier, that emotional balance, you enter an understanding, asking your own self the hard questions, staying in your lane, this sort of thing, and being an observer of yourself and those external of thee. So as you walk through that, you will take on certain elements. It's only natural because you're walking around that. You're taking it on. I know oftentimes in my past when I was good, I was like, okay, that's cute, but I don't want that. Ooh, okay, that I like that in my family, but what's that?
Yeah.
And all of that, I still took on parts of that. And not until I started to walk out my own spiritual journey did I realize I still took on some of that. So when something triggered me, that part that I didn't like in my family came out of me.
Yeah.
Whether it was in a grand display or small, or a thought pattern or something of this sort. So that particular side of that trauma that most of us, let's say our generational family, did not necessarily deal with the trauma in a certain way, because a lot of trauma was just passed down. It was played out in a particular word, action, or some form of deed. It wasn't discussed, it's just kind of laid out. So this particular trauma, the trauma, whatever that trauma is, you imagine the quiet trauma. It's like, we have sessions that I call, what secrets are you keeping from yourself? Because as young children, we heard a lot of stuff. We heard so many different things from our parents, but we blocked them out. Or we were told, okay, adults are talking, go to your room. All of these things played a certain role in our life, let's put it that way. That we didn't necessarily participate by action, but only by hearing and receiving, right? Then if you went through that and you took on things that actually caused you trauma, so that could be, violation, abuse, people, screaming at you, just all levels of what one would say is trauma, abandonment. All these things are a form of trauma based on a person's inner and overstanding to think whoever's in front of them is the authority. Yeah. So now you have the secret trauma. Then you have the physical, conscious, known trauma. So the subconscious is dealing with trauma that was passed down, that wasn't discussed. And then the conscious is dealing with trauma that they interacted with. The emotional side of you being able to tap into your own self and work through those things does take discipline of the self. If not, then what happens is you will fight the things that you physically can see, or you'll run away from them, this particular type of trauma. You just run from it. And then you'll go into the very thing that you said you wanted to escape, but the subconscious is still holding that secret trauma and latching on to the conscious trauma that you're walking into. You're like regurgitating that very thing.
Yes.
It's like blinding your own self, sabotaging your own self.
Mm-hmm.
When I would say our biggest thing would be secrets in the family, secrets.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not going to say so-and-so had a baby by so-and-so, this was that, he was a drunk. All of these different elements that actually do create a trauma-based mediocrity type of mentality or operations within many families, that if they're not spoken out or dealt with in the best way possible, and I always say the best way possible because oftentimes as people we don't have the tools. No, I've gotten to see I didn't have the tools all the time. I had to go through something to be able to enter and understand how to deal with that particular thing. Or something that was next to me, like if I had family members that were alcoholics, then I went around and I was dealing with alcoholics, but I dealt with alcoholics because I already know how to deal with this. So what's different? Not even looking at the fact that I'm walking out the same type of trauma that was placed on me or I was placed into when coming into a tribe of a family. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's still, all of it comes back to it, you have to deal with self. It's we all have to deal with ourselves, our own shadow work. We got to deal with those demons. People are face your enemy. First you need to be looking in the mirror.
Look in the mirror.
Yeah.
My enemy is the one that is not being a friend to me. And my biggest friend should be myself.
Yes.
My biggest friend should be myself.
Yes.
Ashe Divine, because it will walk out. You keep walking it out. People think, why am I with him? You chose him, right?
Yes.
And the depth of that is you might not even know why you chose him. You haven't done your own homework on you, your own shadow work.
Ooh.
I've been there, honey. I've been there. People are like, ooh, honey, he was but ain't want all that. Well, that came with the package. So clearly you needed to work that out. Ashe.
Wow.
Okay, let me finish this off because I was riding now. I gotta finish it, the tie-in. Okay. So the depth of this now. So now you're walking out all this trauma. You're going through all the trauma, this sort of thing. Now, when I left off at the point where you're like, oh my God, why was I with this man? Let's just say he was an alcoholic. How can I be with this alcoholic? Blah, blah, blah. The depth is because of the past, because what you were surrounded by. You didn't look at that as it being something that was not right because you were living in a state of trauma with being in a certain family or around a certain relationship. So indirectly, you become dependent on that same feeling, that same situation, because you're used to it and you don't identify with it being something that is so wrong to you because you got used to operating in it. You saw everybody else operating in it. It became a comfortable reoccurring action to you, even though you did not like it or it. This don't seem right, but you never took the action. I speak for myself and other people I've done with. You never took the action to step away from it.
Yeah.
Because you became dependent on that same feeling. The depth of it is we don't just do that externally, we do that internally. We get so caught up in that feeling that we used to have. Like the depth of, can you imagine someone being afraid of being successful?
No.
But oftentimes people are. I was.
Wow.
Because of the depth of you going through a certain stage,
where you looked at yourself and you said, okay, I'm gonna do this and that, and then you had the reaction from other people that were around you that you enclosed yourself up in a box.
Uh-huh.
So you would only allow yourself to go so far, thus so far, because you didn't want to deal with what was behind that door, that
Uh-huh.
thing. So what you do is you get dependent on that same feeling that you've had within the self. And so I'm good right here. No, I'm good. I like this right here. But you're desiring something else. So it's
Yes.
the same thing. You can do codependency on your own self, your own previous states.
Uh-huh.
You want to aspire for something new. You can do that with you, or you can do it external of you too, with people. So you end up, oh no, well, I like that because I'm comfortable with that. But it's beating you.
Yes.
It's talking down to you,
Mm.
lifting you up, but you comfortable there? But
Yeah.
you coming to me, you crying to me about how you feel.
Uh-huh.
Really, you're not comfortable with it.
True.
You're more afraid of trying that new thing,
Uh-huh.
actually dealing with the fact, okay, no,
Yeah.
this I want to be codependent on this energy, vibration, person, situation that's not bringing nothing new to me. I'm good right here because you know it. So many people stay in a state of lack, mediocrity, all of these stages because they're dependent, codependent on that
Uh-huh.
previous narrative of what they went through. I always say in sessions, even Empress is like, I see myself going through a certain thing. I'm just like, okay, hold up, hold up, hold up.
Uh-huh.
I can be in the past, the present, and the future all at one time.
Uh-huh.
And the depth is most of us will literally be in the present and the past all the time.
Yes.
They're never looking to the future because they've gotten so comfortable, codependent on those old feelings, those old emotions, those old situations. I'm not willing to hop over and do something new. That's too
Yeah.
scary for me.
True.
Most people don't want to be suspended. I'm not saying it's an easy thing to do, but after you've done it a couple times, you start feeling like, oh, okay, wait, okay. Whew, okay, this is something new. I'm gonna pass it. I'm gonna go through. That's how you alleviate that codependency to something that doesn't service you. Because it's all right, okay, you can be codependent indirectly. You can be codependent. You want to be able to share. You want to be able to depend on somebody outside of external the self. You want those particular things, or I should say, you should have that as a fulfillment if it's necessary.
Yes.
But to be codependent, hello, it's a slave. If it's not servicing you, how is it? You become a slave to your own thoughts, situations, people, places, and things.
Yes.
And how you gonna get mad at the people when they use that as you, like on puppet strings? How are you gonna be mad?
Right.
Codependency.
Ooh.
Yes, exactly.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
okay. You asked the question. I don't.
Yes, you covered that whole thing. I don't even want to ask another question about dependency and dependence because, yes, that was great. Thank you so much. Like, I like how you're bringing it back to self because that's where it first starts. Like, I love that.
Accountability. Sure.
Accountability.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ooh, okay.
Cool. So,
It's like, okay, that's it.
I'm satisfied right now. I just ate real good. I'm
Say all the time. Yes. You
That
got that
is it.
soul, that spirit food right there. Yes. That's it. Sustainability. Sustainability. Oh, yeah.
So the next question, really the next topic was about women who operate in masculine energy. And I wanted to discuss that because I was raised by a masculine woman. She was married, but that was her house. She was the head of the house, basically. And she was very dominant and just she didn't really show much emotion, like love and stuff like that. It was more so the authoritarian type. So I have some questions because me not experiencing a nurturing, loving like mother and more masculine, well, let's say feminine. I don't want to say that. I don't want to disrespect my mother, but feminine mother, I have a few questions because a lot of women like myself did not experience that. A few friends that I have, we didn't get to experience feminine mothers and the nurture and the love that, that we wanted, but they did, they gave us what they were taught, So not to take away from them, but they did what they could do. So I just feel like, you know, there's a hole, not a hole, but something missing, from me growing up as a woman and not experiencing that feminine energy from my mother, So the questions that I have here, okay, what do you think happens when a child lacks nurture from their mothers?
Oh.
And I guess let's see happens when the woman grows up because
Yeah, she would have that supply. Yeah. It is a yeah. Ashe divine. Ashe. You're beautiful. You're absolutely beautiful. The femininity is there, though. It's because you have decided that that's a piece of you that you want to resurrect, to replenish, to nourish. So that very thing, that desire that you wanted has actually come to you. You've become the very thing that you have desired through that particular time. All right, beloved? Know that. Sometimes you have to bear witness of the opposite to know what the light really looks like to you. Oh, divine spirit, beloved.
Yes, I am dripping.
You're humble enough to be able to resonate within the light and being shown how to be. Sometimes we have to see the opposite so we know what light looks like to be, You really do. I get it. I truly get it. And for you to be able to speak of your mother in such a way, and as you said, not just respect her, but give the truth and let the truth be the truth. She could give that which she was able to require for herself. So she only knew this. I grew up with a very strong mother too. It was just fun. We had fun. Played. She's a young mom. She had me young, so it was like this. We're like thick and thin. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. However, I will say that many of us have grown up with women that have had to be more masculine. And the sad part of that is it is an overall collective thing within a community of sorts that the woman now is taking on a role that she shouldn't have to. But now it's so played into the embodiment and of the community, of families. She should be able to resonate in her divine divinity, that feminine side, that quality that helps to nurture and to feed. However, when we, and now I'm gonna jump into me because I am not, have to take on, or not say take on, but have to use the masculine side of me, because we have both sides. Everybody has both sides.
Yes.
And it's the one that is being, or the one that is operating the most, that's going to be the one that's amplified the most.
Yeah.
So in many respects, you do have to look at any woman you're looking out and like, wow, okay, that's a lot of male energy you got going on. Well, that's the one that she's had to use. And oftentimes too, women, for myself, I'll speak for myself, I've had to use the masculine energy of myself. Here's the female, she gets to, but she's had to go out with that masculine territorial. I got to come in and handle things because there is only me. I'm a single mother with 2 babies. I can't, I have to go out and do this particular thing. At the same time, now we go back to what we started with in the beginning of the conversation, which is me having an inner and understanding of my emotional way, my balance, being able to know that, wait a minute, I got to switch this off. I can't ride in this particular lane all the time.
Right.
I can't, because I'm also suffering. I don't get to be that girl that's just so that I'm just like, oh my God. Okay, he's here. All right. Hey. I don't have to do that. My husband, what? I don't get to be in that place if I'm always riding in that male masculinity side. That's actually not, that's not my culture. That's not what I'm supposed to be doing 24/7. However, how can you tell yourself that that's not, or cut that off if that's all that you ever knew? If that's all that you ever, you know what I mean? Because you didn't have an outline. And oftentimes this is what to me gets overlooked, because we're not told or we're not shown a guideline. However, if you're tapping into yourself and just being an observer of yourself and everyone else, it'll help you trigger those particular things within yourself that you'll be like, wait a minute, okay, I can see when I need to be a little bit more aggressive, but I can also see when I need to just be in my feminine. And for one that is desiring a family, that's so critical to you. It's going to be critical to you. You have to look at the example that you did get to see as a balance, a check and balancing. You give respect. I tell her oftentimes, and many of my other late babies that I've adopted as daughters, it's like, you see mama, you see your yaya, take what is good of me, take that, plant that as seed and let that water. That which you see that doesn't line up with your divinity, release that. Allow yourself to release that from you. Don't carry that with you. My thing shouldn't be your burden. You hear me?
Yes.
Your thing is not something that should be attached to your mother. And your mother's thing shouldn't be your burden.
Ashe.
You're supposed to walk through with a newness. You take that, observe of it, eat of it, take what rings true to that. So if you ever, even with having a king in the house, had to stand and allow that side of masculinity, it's going to come through as a strong feminine energy. She's going to be able to command and run a household. She's going to be able to command a whole village. But she's also going to know when that divine masculine is in her presence that she doesn't have to lean on that. She can rest in her divinity and allow him to proceed in that.
Right.
Feel me? Sometimes we have to be able to see those things to know what that is for us to ring true. It does take that obvious work, it does take work. And at this time, this day and age, everybody's people can mixing it all up. Kind of mixing it all up. But you knowing what's good for you. Like I love being in my divine feminine. But the divine masculine side of me too, like, hold up, wait a minute. I need to go to this yoga. I like to box. Let me put on my hoodie and hat and just, but I'm still feminine, I'm gonna be cute. Give me my lipstick and what's good? I'm gonna hang out with the boys. What? But that's me being able to balance both sides of that and not being too extreme this way or too extreme that way. Because when you meet that divine, that masculine king, he's got both sides too. But the depth is you come in and you help balance that. Like he would help balance you. So it's that whole emotional state of what you've come through that you have to be able to ring true. And I'll say this to you because you have to already know that you've already become that very thing that you see to be true. That feminine is already resonating in you. It's you walking out that application, you walking out your perfection of that. Because that was just an example, and that's just one of many. You haven't come and pass through that. But you also have to look at it as you can also be the mirror for your mother that she needed to see come through.
Yes. Yeah. Not sure.
Most definitely. Yeah, that was a question for her. Look. Mama, how is it to have mama that is both sides or been both sides? You know, it's kind of like that.
It is. It's yeah. It's no, definitely. I love it because you definitely get to see that balance. And for universal law, you do need both masculine and feminine. And seeing a woman just walk in that, it's very, very inspirational to me. And it's very nice being able to, dress like this, and then next thing you know, we're just sparring or something like that. You know what I mean? It's pretty lovely. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal because that is the base.
Some people can and some people do. I love divine masculine. So when I portray this or act it out, it's because I'm like my own way paying homage.
Yes, it's true.
When they smell themselves and they walking around. I'm right here, I got you. Let somebody roll up.
Exactly. Vocal squad.
Okay. Vocal squad, or I'm gonna make a little medicine, a little potion. This sort of thing. But oftentimes, in all seriousness, most people they end up despising. Like, you got to think about it. If depending on where that woman came from, what she came out of, what she was born into, with how she dealt with her particular traumas, she can go into a state of dislike for her own divine feminine.
Wow.
You can. Yeah, I've seen women do that. You can clear. They cross over the line. Once they cross over the threshold, it's hard to bring them back. Like anything, we all have to do our own internal work. Once you're over a certain threshold, you either choose to tap out, and leave it. So oftentimes you'll find that some of the women that are operating so far into the divine masculine role, portraying this because they have really given up on their feminine role and they despise the way what that implies, vulnerability, oh, she's weak, any type of these stereotypes that people would say. You will find most of the women do not like that particular side. Maybe because of a particular trauma they've had with that being taken. I've dealt with that too, where it's just like, why would I want to be vulnerable? Every time I show myself, somebody's taking advantage of me. Why did they do that? Wait, what do I need to do to change that? Where does that need to? But some women will cross over and they don't like their divine feminine, so they choose to be man. Because they feel more in control and more power.
Yes. I see that. I see our generation leaning more and more into that energy. So I wanted to ask that question for the women who aren't leaning into that energy, and we want to stay balanced and not cross over and not be able to come back, because I don't feel like that's natural.
Other thing which you can do is I found that for myself, other ladies that I've spoken to, is do something that is feminine. Constantly do something that you can do some self-care. I don't care whatever that is for you, bubble bath, going dancing, whatever. Do something that constantly keeps you in a state of knowing that I'm feminine, I'm here, I'm resident. I had to do it for myself. I had to. I didn't care what people thought, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm constantly out here looking to protect and provide for my children. Oh, no, I got to go here. Let me just sit in a jazz club. Let me go to the classical section. Let me do some art. Yeah. No, let me just get me. I don't always have to go with nobody else. This is about me. Okay, if you look at me and say this is conceited or, ooh, you got to be bougie or white, that, you acting white, whatever that is.
I don't.
But that kept bringing me back to that feminine creativity, that nurturing. Go out in the damn grass. Do something. Lay out there. Take your pretty black ass and go out and lay in the grass.
Yes.
That brings you back to, wait a minute. And take time, look in the mirror at yourself.
Yes. Find yourself.
Just say, wait a minute. Feminine. Damn woman. These are all things that they're simple at the very nature of thought, but oftentimes can be very difficult for one that has gone through a trauma and hasn't released it yet or worked through it. So some women, I don't want to look at myself. Why would I have been through? And it just takes work.
True.
Totality. Yeah.
That was beautiful. Wow. Just wow. Thank you so much. What you just said about like doing things that make you feel more feminine, that just made me think of Jauqline's belly dancing classes that I'm going to take.
Okay.
When you dancing, it's just like, you just have that feminine essence about you. And I love to dance. I love to hip roll and stuff. So I'm like, maybe I need to incorporate some of that into my life. And I need an instructor because
I'm here.
I feel like that would most definitely help for sure.
Yes. No, it definitely does. And really, it's like putting yourself into a meditation. And it's something that I had to, when I was going through, some type of little toughness or whatever, it was like bringing yourself into a certain state. And it is so freaking wonderful. It really is. So you commenting on the video with me in the black and white video, you comment, just the embodiment, hearing that and letting the vibrations go through your body. It's just, I love it. Like you can like instantly enter a state of being as soon as you just really feel and you engage it. It's just, you just know it's you, and it's just it's femininity at its best. It really is. Dancing is the top feminine thing to do. Asheo. So thank you. Thank you so much.
In society today, it's used
so much.
I see so many talented women online. I'm like, well, damn, if we could just like flip the switch on how you dance and put some more effort and skill and
more
intention
sensual.
That's more sensual
and not sexual. It's
right.
It's you tap into all of it. It's just phenomenal. So yes, we are more than welcome, Amor. You're more than welcome. Let's do it.
And she cute. She is absolutely really cute. I absolutely love it. She caught me a couple times just watching. I was like,
it's so mesmerizing. I almost got caught. I'm like, I done watched this 10 times. It's very magnetic, like it draws you in.
Yes. Thank you.
I love it. Yes. I would love to embody that.
Yes, definitely. Yes. You can
do that one then. That's a good one to add to you. The dancing. No, most definitely. She be shaking it. She do that.
I'm looking forward to it.
Better than I ever have.
Okay.
Yes. Do you have any more questions, Amor? We're here.
Yes, I have 2 more questions. You know what? No, this is my last question. So you've been doing so awesome, like.
Oh, well, good. That's good.
answers. Like, I can't wait for the women to hear this and just the people to hear it. And I know it's going to help everybody a lot. So my last question is, how can a woman identify that she has excessive masculine energy?
Growing any hairs on the chest. Sorry. I had to poke fun. Just a little.
Oh.
Okay. All seriousness and all seriousness. First and foremost, I would say it would have to start with the mind. I know at the heightened point of my life when I was really operating in that just male, I'm going in, I'm going to bash everyone's head, cute and everything, while you distracted, and I mean this wholeheartedly, while you're so distracted at looking at me, I'm going to be playing just like a man would play. So, so I would say it's all about the mentality. If a woman starts thinking so much the way a man would think about dealing with people, women, or whether it's male or female, I, as a woman, start to look at men and female and thinking about, I'm just coming in to take territory. It's mentality, because it's first mentality. A woman's first nature is not to come in to think, I'm going to take territory.
Yeah.
I'm going to take all that you got. That's not her. Generally, that is not her innate ability or thought pattern. It is about, whoa, let me come in and nurture. What do you got? Let me do this.
Yeah.
You know, this sort of thing. We're givers. We're life bringers. So mentality would be the first thing. How you are perceiving your surroundings, how your interactions are unfolding. If you find that every time you walk in a room or you're engaging in a conversation, you're always posting up, you know, that position of posting, like, where did we learn that from? And I said we because I know how to do it, but it's just not something in my operation that I'm always going to be walking in posting. What's this? Why are you posting? That is the biggest thing. Mentality, your disposition. If you are in a dress and you sitting like a man, it's the simplest things, but we pass them by because one cannot see somebody else's thoughts unless you allow yourself to tap in, because we do have that gift too, but that's a whole nother video. So, I mean, the depth of a thought, you can't see a person's thought. How you engage with a person, you can see their interaction. You can see their mannerism, a person's stance, right? And most people will say, okay, because of how everybody's crossing over these days, they would go, oh, well, you can't just throw it to that. But yes, you can if you're speaking about entering, overstanding your own moral compass. Your own identity is like, wait a minute, these are just checks for yourself. So your mental thought, you coming in trying to take territory already? For what? What you got to prove?
Exactly.
Why are you proving something? What's the deal? You know what I'm saying? If you're already engaged in some form of a fight and there's no fight there, then you've already been put in a position of masculinity.
Yes.
Come in and take over for what? Why are you fighting? So your thought pattern, then your demeanor. So, okay, I'm in a dress. So you got on, because people love clothes. I love clothes. However, some people are really, pardon my French, but posed to a brand name. So you're going to put on a brand name. Here it is. But you walk in like there's no etiquette in your stride. There's no disposition when you sit down. It's not classy. That's not a lady. That's also traits. Well, wait a minute. Excuse me, you know, the girl's boobs are boobs out. And, you know, she all, but why I got this little no, babe, that's not cute, that's stank. No,
Yes.
seriously. I enjoy beautiful women.
Yeah.
I'm working around women all the time. I tell girl, do that, honey. Tighten, yes, do it.
Right.
Model and fashion for most of my, come on, I love, but class is everything. So your mentality, your disposition, and how you project who you are. So if you're speaking and every other word, if you're speaking and every other word is like, what's good? What's good, baby? How you doing?
Yes.
What's up? Come on.
Bruh, hey, what's up, bruh?
Come on. You already started all play.
Yes,
We
you do.
enjoy.
Exactly.
If my man or my boys is like, baby, boy, bye. What's good, baby? I'm not gonna stay in that state.
Yeah.
I'm with my man and I'm talking about, bruh, what's up? What's up, bruh?
That's crazy.
These are avenues that they're okay, wake up, because as you create something, the more you do it, it becomes a habit. Let's just keep it real. Then if you have to go into war, those are the things that you're going to trigger up first. So if you're constantly in a war, you're going to constantly be doing that to a point that you're going to be wearing a dress, having your boobs out, looking like a beautiful woman, but you're speaking, talking, walking like a man.
Yes.
And then a man who's the man is going to be like, I'm attracted to you, you're sexy, but what the hell is all of that? No, I don't need all that. No. Fight men that are doing that. Why I gotta fight a beautiful woman that look like that and she barking at me, and that's too much masculinity. That's you know, the feminine has, she's kind of watered down. You just get to see her externally.
Yeah.
And typically it does happen like that. And I do get the understanding that position-wise as a community, it's been shifted. You got more of the women that, they're bosses. They own their own stuff. They got more of the jobs. But we have to have a balance within our own self, because that's taking accountability for our totality. So yes, ladies, I'm not saying you can't play with your man and enjoy. I want to have fun. I'm wearing the ball caps, but I'm keeping a balance that I'm feminine. I give birth through the body. Not to say that we all don't give birth, because we can birth things through our mouth all day long. All day long. So what I choose to birth right now is that divine feminine raising up and being in balance with herself. Go find a man or be with the man that can give you all the extra, let him do that. Exactly. I like when you bark. It's cute. Let him bark. Sometimes you want to play, like, okay, fine, you can bark. I'm just saying, just use bark as an example. Yeah. Inside joke. But the depth of it is definitely look at how your mentality is, how your demeanor is, your thought patterns, and that will play out certain things to yourself. And if you always feel like you have to be on guard, you really do need to check the self.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Not like you're being protected. If you feel like you're on guard all the time, you have to check the self with that. You really do. If you want to be in your divine feminine. Because some women don't. They don't care about that. They good where they're at. So I would say that. I definitely would say that. And again, try doing something that's good, that's feminine. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be the atypical. It doesn't. Whatever makes you feel in that place of relaxation where, okay, this is me. I feel good here.
Right.
So to someone else, it may be like, okay, let me get some hair all the way down here, just swing it around. To someone else, it could be like, no, girl, I'm going to put my hair up in a scarf, soak back in the tub, throw some crystals in there. Now give me some love. Hello? Yeah. Other women, ding, ding, ding. They ringing their bell, asking Pedro to bring them their food. Whatever's going to give you that part of feeling like I embody the essence of being able to give birth.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's that part, you know? That's really that part.
Yeah.
I enjoy them all personally, but
Yeah.
we weren't talking so much about me. Yes, beloved. Yes, I hope that answered your question.
Yes.
So seriously.
It really did. Honestly, you answered every single question perfectly.
Awesome. That's why she's the sage. She's the sage.
You've been through enough stuff, you start learning things.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. That's absolutely phenomenal. I really do appreciate you, Pocahontas, for coming into this discussion, being here. Your questions absolutely phenomenal, and they really do touch all aspects of the life, and everyone, as you said, everyone will get something from this, because everyone still are human. We're human. We deal with emotions, all this type of stuff. So it's really, really great, and I'm sure we probably on again.
Oh,
so get some other questions on too.
Watch trigger points as well.
Exactly.
Watch for the trigger points in the body, because it does come out in your body as well. As far as emotions and trigger points could be someone saying something, being in a certain situation. Be mindful of the dreams. I will say that. Be mindful of your dreams, ladies. Definitely be mindful of them.
Oh, yes.
Because things do play out in your dreams. Most definitely look at the synchronicities of time, numbers, and events. And don't just, I shouldn't say look at them, actually apply the application, you know, because numbers and colors and things are all vibrating back a certain vibrational energy to you. The dreams. So emotions, I love how you made mention of the emotional part, because out of everything I said, the emotions is where we start to tap in. We're able to understand, and we're able to apply the application. Once that's in check, once that's in balance. And so whatever helps you get in balance, whether it's the dance, whether it's meditation, but it's being aware of that for yourself, and then owning that totality for you, so you can do whatever it is you choose to do.
Ashe.
Ashe divine.
Ashe,
Ashe. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
Could you please just tell everyone about your holistic mentorships that you offer?
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I appreciate it. Oh, okay. So what's to tell? My mentorship is all about, first and foremost, it's something that I had to do for the self. And really go in and do a lot of shadow work, altar work, as well as self-development. And it was owning my own totality. And when I say totality, I mean all of my bullshit. You hear me? Like all of my bullshit, everything. And all of the things that were vibrating high and true, you know, being able to stand in my own lane and be good with that. And be good with that. Most of us are so talented and able to do certain things, but we're afraid to stand in our own lane. We want to jump in somebody else's lane when that's not meant for you. So what I call them is actually, it's like it's my daughter's camp, you know, even though I have men too. It's like that birthing camp, to be able to help assist somebody else through with seeing their way to their own path, to knowing what it is that they want to develop. So create your own identity and lifestyle is about you seeing you creating, being a co-creator for the life that you see yourself, to basically rise above and be able to walk in that life's purpose and path. It does deal with a lot of cutting cords, your own shadow work, and actually being able to create your own platform for yourself in this particular time. So spiritual development is the biggest part of it. I've called it create your own identity. and lifestyle in divine balance. One is the external, and one is the internal. You can't have one without the other, because we live that way every day. This skin is actually the casing for a spirit within.
I say, yes.
Divine. I look forward to seeing you again.
Yes,
Absolutely.
definitely.
Yes, I look forward to seeing you too as well. I most definitely want to be a part of your mentorship, because I've been actually looking for a spiritual mentor. I understand that what you're doing isn't spiritual, it's holistic, but to me it was spiritual. Okay, so
It's the combination, because I do, because I had to break it up that way. Long short story, but I had to break it up that way because I was in what we call the natural world, in modeling, which was all about imagery, likeness, and all this other stuff, fashion, da da da. And I was dealing with a lot of ladies, but what I found was, even though I was there to teach them how to walk, do modeling, photographs, all this makeup, blah, 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 I was actually teaching them how to go through all the things that I went through. And I was teaching them that etiquette of being able to socially grow and travel globally and conduct themselves like ladies. To be able to, when someone said to them, hey, no, you're not fit for this, how they dealt with that. So I was teaching them a lot of spiritual development, because I was going through those things. But at the time, the world wasn't ready for that. So it came across as image, makeup, hair, blah, blah, blah. That was true. But all of these young ladies, as I got to see, their mothers and their family members were coming to me saying, whoa, what did you do? Because she's completely different. Her attitude is a whole nother level. It was da, 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 this sort of thing. So in one case, here it is, the modeling imagery. And on the other side, wait a minute, the more I developed myself, that's what was coming through to the ladies. And that's what I started to see more and more of. That's what they needed to have. So yes, I teach about the spiritual baths and, like detoxing yourself and being able to enter and understand yourself, which is the main focus, because women would come even with me designing couture clothes. I did the couture clothes. Women would come in there for the couture dresses, and the next thing you know, they're bawling out their eyes, because I chose to dress women up from the inside out. I didn't just want you to wear my dress. I want you to freaking permeate my dress, because anybody can put on a dress, but it's the radiation of who she is that stands and comes through. So I kind of had to split it up for business purposes, or the media when I was doing certain things. Now I've tied it all together. So it's one of those things, you kind of just look at the flyer, you'll be able to see which side. And I had women for a long period of time just coming for the external side. And then as we were doing the external side, because of the disciplines and scenarios I would give them to do, they would want the interns like, baby, don't worry about it. I know right now you just all about how you look. You're going to find out that you can look like this all day. But what you're seeing on me is because I've gone through. I've come through and come out on the other side. So you think I'm gorgeous or pretty, I appreciate that, beloved. But when you start seeing me, you're going to be like, okay, wait. You done been through some stuff. Wait a minute, how do I do that? So no matter what you put on, it doesn't have to be Fendi. It doesn't have, whatever you are wearing, honey, is coming through. You pulling it through, because it's permeating from you, not on you, from you. So I've mixed them all together. So I look forward to you and anyone else that is meant to be in this realm and space to extend your own divinity. I absolutely do. Love it.
Well, thanks for having me.
It's absolutely an honor, definitely.
Oh, good. Another Pisces.
Yes, exactly. Yes, another Pisces, All righty, man. Pocahontas Ase, appreciate you being on the show. Definitely. So yes, we see you soon. You have a good rest of your day,
You
okay?
too, beloved.
You too.
Okay, ciao.